Today in the Christian calendar we reach what is known as Palm Sunday, the day that commences Holy Week and in which the death and resurrection of Jesus is traditionally remembered. It commences with what is called the Triumphal Entry of Jesus into Jerusalem. And here is Mark's account in chapter 11, verses 1 to 10. As they approached Jerusalem and came to Bethpage and Bethany, at the Mount of Olives, Jesus sent 2 of his disciples, saying to them, "Go to the village ahead of you, and just as you enter it, you will find a colt tied there, which no one has ever ridden. Untie it and bring it here. If anyone asks you why you're doing this, say, 'The Lord needs it, and will send it back here shortly.'" They went and found a colt outside in the street, tied at a doorway. As they untied it, some people standing there asked, "What are you doing untying that colt?" They answered as Jesus had told them to, and the people let them go. When they brought the colt to Jesus and threw their cloaks over it, he sat on it. Many people spread their cloaks on the road, while others spread branches they had cut in the fields. Those who went ahead and those who followed shouted, "Hosanna! Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Blessed is the coming kingdom of our father David. Hosanna in the highest heaven." The triumphal entry of Jesus is unusual. Unlike almost all the other events in Jesus' life, it's recorded in every one of the 4 accounts of Jesus' life. Those who told the story must therefore have regarded it as important for their readers to hear, and therefore important for us too. It is in fact the story of people like us who dimly perceived who Jesus might be. So Mark tells us some got very excited with the possibility that Jesus was God's promised answer to their needs. Disillusioned during the coming days, some were probably among the crowds who later cried, "Crucify him." But the other accounts of Jesus' entry into Jerusalem carefully identify different responses to Jesus. There were those whose minds were closed to what was taking place. Personal agendas and self-interest rendered them utterly blind to what was being seen before their very eyes. Others were caught up in the frenzy of the event, but their interest quickly faded when perplexed, and ultimately they too became either part of the apathetic majority or members of the aggressive opposition to Jesus. But there were others, also puzzled and confused, but with minds and hearts open sufficiently to the unbelievable to say, after all was said and done, as Thomas the Apostle said, "My Lord and my God." And in our hearing the stories, we too are invited to respond to the greatest story ever told, a story that can be our story too.